Hey everybody, this is Kevin Purcell with the Theotek podcast. Today we are talking Apple. That's right. They introduced all their new goodies at WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference. And every year about this time they unearth and expose what they're planning to do in their operating systems. Sometimes they introduce hardware. We didn't get any of that this year, but we're just going to talk a little bit about that. In general, we're a bunch of Mac fanatics with the Theotek podcast. We're down a couple, but fortunately, we've got LaRosa.
Woo!
LaRosa is within the house. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Life is busy right now, but yeah, doing really well. And Olive Tree actually has two developers at WWDC.
And so you will have a version of Olive Tree that is functional with all the new features next Monday, we said, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Like, not really. Don't count on it. Don't hold your breath. But
But we will have a new Mac version possibly sometime next week.
Whoa, what?
sometime next week?
What?
Yep.
You've been talking to us on Slack for like the last week? You haven't dropped this on us?
Well, you heard it here maybe first. I doubt that, but you heard it here anyway. And that person getting all excited there was, of course, Wes Allen. How you doing, Wes?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. Rick isn't here with us. He decided he liked his wife better than he liked us. I don't understand that. I like my wife better than I like you guys, but I don't know why he would like his wife better than he likes me. But we'll just let that go. And he's heading out of the country, and he'll hopefully be joining us next week from Asia. And so he decided to spend this extra time with her instead of with us. And then also Antoine might chime in. As you guys who watch this regularly know, Antoine's often a latecomer, and that's fine. We're happy to have him whenever we can get him. But again, let's just talk Mac and OS, iOS, and Watch OS. And so, what is the coolest new news about OS 10? Whoops, it's now Mac OS, which makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, Mac OS.
Is that really big news other than just, okay, they made it look like all the other...
It was me because I was in a Slack channel, and one of the guys was like, when they were going through all the platforms in the beginning, and it said OS 10, I was like, well, I guess they're not changing to Mac OS. And I just told him, just wait till they start talking about it. That's when they'll drop it.
Yeah,
and it got a big cheer.
I was listening to the Twit stream of it. I kind of like their snarky comments and stuff. And you do get most of the details, but they were talking about that, and they said, oh, well, maybe they're not naming it OS 10, and then someone said something like, yeah, just wait. So here we've got, this is the developers announcement page of what's new and exciting. Tell me what you're excited about. We'll go with you, LaRosa, since we haven't been able to enjoy your company in a while. What's the one thing about Mac OS, other than the new name, that you're looking forward to that you think will change the way you work?
Well, it's going to be
background. You're a fairly new Mac user, right?
Yeah, I just got a MacBook Pro probably a week and a half ago, 2 weeks now. I think the two biggest things will be the universal clipboard. So if I am doing something on my phone, copy and paste, I can just copy it and then just paste it onto the Mac OS. And then also using Touch ID to do Apple Pay.
Yeah,
that'll be really
awesome.
nice and just save a lot of time from filling out forms and all that kind of stuff.
You can, when you're on a website, you can actually grab your phone if you have an iPhone, and so you're supposed to be able to do the payment information on the website on your Mac, and then authenticate with your fingerprint on your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I hope it works well.
So do I. And here's my question. If we can do that for Apple Pay, why on earth can we not use Touch ID to unlock the Mac? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, here's one thought about that. They always introduce these things in June, and then when they give the hardware announcement sometime in the fall, Don't they always throw in a few other new little features that they didn't already announce?
I mean, the
Is
only
it possible
thing
that might show up in something like that?
the only thing I can think of is that somehow they're going to integrate a Touch ID sensor into the Mac hardware itself, but I just don't see it happening right now. Like it just doesn't. It seems like an odd play. They're announcing Touch ID for Apple Pay. It doesn't. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it seems like an odd thing to omit. Is what I'm saying.
Unless what they're saying about the new MacBooks is actually going to be true.
What, with the little LCD screen and the terrible keyboard?
Yeah, and possibly having some kind of Touch ID built into that.
I hope we get that. That would be awesome.
Although I saw that would be cool.
Project today that it'll add a Touch ID via USB to a Mac or a Windows.
Okay.
Windows computer, but it won't be integrated, so it probably won't work as well. I mean, I've used that kind of thing before, and it never quite worked right.
Yeah, it's been hit or miss for me. Touch ID on the iPhone is, especially on the 6S, the 6 series, is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. Now we'll tell you, we're not to iOS yet, but one of the things that there is an interesting new way of opening the screen on your phone. I by the way, I have a developer account. I don't know if I'm supposed to be showing this or not, but you're seeing Mac OS on this. I think they've relaxed that. Don't show this anywhere else. I've done it before and I've never said anything about it. So
there are lots of YouTube videos out there already. So
yeah. So
we're good.
They're not coming after you.
The biggest difference that you can see on the screen. Well, you tell me. What's the biggest difference you can see on my screen?
Well, are you showing your screen right? Because all I'm seeing is your web browser.
Okay. Well, let's. I mean, there's other than what you just saw there. There you go. Mac OS Sierra.
There you go.
But really, I mean, kind of the only thing up here, you've got the Siri button.
Right. I love that.
Show me the weather today. Of course, Siri didn't open there. It opened on my other display that I'm not sharing right now, unfortunately.
Here's the weather today.
But it pops up. So I don't think I can drag it. I wish I could drag it over there for you. You can see that's what it displays.
Oh, that's awesome. That was great.
Yeah, and it went away, though.
Yeah, that's really odd. If you click in there first, would it do it? Activate Siri on your second screen.
Yeah, I've done that. I've tried doing it.
Okay.
So let me just share that screen, and that'll let you see what we're doing here. Bear with us, folks.
That'll teach you to use multiple monitors.
Yeah, well, I use multiple monitors because it drives me nuts trying to... See there, you can see the new Siri screen, right?
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Can you send messages and things like that with it, too? It'll work just like...
Yeah. Text my wife, honey, I love you. See, it's a little slow.
And thus 10 husband points were awarded to one Kevin Purcell.
Go ahead.
I love you.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's not. It's not working well right now.
It is. We must acknowledge this is a developer preview release.
Yes, this is the first beta.
It's the first public beta, not public beta, but developer beta, and it's slow, it's buggy. I have one program that I'm reviewing right now that won't even launch or run on it. The good news is all the Bible software I use, you can see when I showed you my screen, you saw the links to Logos, Accordance, and Olive Tree, which is what I keep in my dock, and then I also have a few others in my applications folder, and all of it runs. Now, does it run well? Accordance likes to pride itself in the fact that it's one of the fastest programs that you can buy. It's not fast on Mac OS, but nothing is going to work really well on this, and so you can't judge the final release from what you've got now. But I decided to go ahead and put it on here, and I'm kind of glad I did, and I was tempted to put it on my production machine. I'm not going to do that yet. But we were talking about our favorites. You know, we showed off Siri, which I'm excited about that. One of the things it's going to do, let me share my screen, see if we can make this work properly now. Oops, did the wrong thing. Got rid of the wrong screen there. One of the things I'm excited about is that it will launch apps, from Siri. So let's try it. Show my downloads folder.
Okay, here's your downloads folder.
And so then I just click on it, and there you go. It opens up the downloads folder.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. All right, let me try again here. Launch Olive Tree Bible.
Which of these would you like? Logos Bible Software 6, Bible Study, or Bible?
Bible Study. I clicked it, so it was already responding to my click.
Nice. Very good.
Launch Microsoft Word. Now you can see words dancing on the dock, so it's coming. So anyway, I'm pleased with that. That's probably one of the things I'm most excited about. You guys still with me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're here.
I sort of had a freeze, and I was worried that my whole system froze up for a second there.
Developer preview.
Is it jumping out at you?
Yeah, I think especially if you're in a lower capacity SSD MacBook, the optimized storage with iCloud, caveat, if it actually works speedily, will be amazing.
Yeah, if you go, let's see if I can find out where to do this. If you go into settings on this, there's an iCloud button now. It's launching. Of course, I don't have my screen shared anymore. But
and one of the reasons why, Kev, is especially one of the new features is desktop will automatically sync, and that's if you're connected to two different Macs, it'll sync that way. But I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've used my desktop as a scratch board on my Mac, and then I've been away somewhere and I have my iPad and I want to access it, and I don't have my desktop folder currently being like auto synced with like my iCloud or anything. And so I don't have access to any of this stuff. And so when he said, we're going to sync desktop, I went, oh, that's a game changer. I'm going to love that. But the thing is, it has to work, because right now iCloud syncing is so slow.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll change the iCloud storage plan pricing as well to go along with that.
It would be interesting if they did, and I'm a little shocked that they didn't. But
well, they probably won't until the fall when they actually release it.
It was interesting because, like Kevin had said, like the last couple of years they've done like hardware releases and done some announcements like changes to iCloud pricing and things like that at WWDC. This is the first year in a while, Kevin, you really pointed out, this presentation was entirely for developers. There was nothing consumer-oriented in that presentation at all. And it was, so that's different. So that was why I said it's unusual, because they haven't done it in this way in a while. But it probably keeps the conference more focused.
Yeah, unless you're like some people like us who are just real passionate fans of hardware and software and gadgets and stuff like that. But you notice here I've got the system preferences open, and where is iCloud at?
Third row.
Third row. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Sorry. It's going to show an address that I don't want seen publicly because I don't want anyone using it. So I'm glad I hit that before. It's still trying to load it. Right now, the system preferences window, I launched it the minute you first started talking about the iCloud feature, the iCloud sync feature. I hit the system preferences, and just now is when it finally loaded, and now I hit the iCloud, and it's still showing me the magical, colorful beach ball.
Developer preview.
Yeah, developer preview. So don't go load this on your home machine.
Please
if you
don't.
Find one of those places, there are places you can get access to these even if you're not a developer. Don't do it. Just don't be stupid like me. And I'm not doing it on my production machine. My most important system. So I don't see anything in here. I guess the options for iCloud Drive is where I would find it. Because when you first load it, it pops up with a thing saying, do you want to sync? Here it is. Do you want to sync your... I can share this now that thing is covered up, I think. So you can see it. It shows you... Let me look here again just to make sure. Okay, yeah. See, this is when you click on the iCloud options, that's behind this window. It gives you this new thing right here. This wasn't here before, right? I don't think so. Where it says desktop and document folders.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, and if I check mark that, it'll start syncing those things to my iCloud. Everything in my documents and desktop, it'll start syncing that stuff along with the rest of this stuff in here. And then where it says optimize Mac storage, the full contents of iCloud Drive will be stored on this Mac if you have enough space. Older documents will be stored only in iCloud when space is needed. So I guess it's going by the file date modification.
Probably, and it would be interesting to see how you can tweak that in the future. But I like how it's automatic right now, so it's nice for most people.
Yeah, it'll come up and ask you if you want to turn that on the first time you boot after installing Sierra. That's
what is the new? There's an Android phone out that does that right now. It looks really the Robin. No, it looks like it's. And it does very similar thing. So it all comes with cloud storage, and it's meant to, your applications. The icon will still be there, but if you don't use it, it'll throw it to the cloud, and if you tap on it, it'll re-download it, and so you don't have to worry about how much storage you have in your phone. I think this is that type of idea, and I like it. Kind of cool.
After the podcast, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and see how long it takes to sync that stuff.
It might explode your system at this point.
Sorry, what?
Said it might explode your system at this point.
It might. I don't know. I've got in my documents folder.
The APIs are put together with Band-Aids at this point. Just be very careful.
But I don't know that it would offer and say, here, go ahead and turn this on right from the start. It's
not supposed to be in a machine that has anything useful on it. I mean, it's a caveat emptor right now. Just be careful.
I don't have that much. I got 5.71 gigabytes, and I pay for, I think, 100 and what's the one that's around 200?
200? I don't know.
Is that what it is? 200 gigabytes? The level?
I actually pay for 50, and I'm quite happy with it. It's a bargain.
Yeah, for 99 cents.
Yeah.
200 is not bad either. It's what?
Yeah, my philosophy right now is I'll pay for what I'm using.
Yeah, if I get up to there when you need, I don't have a problem paying for that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a 128 gigabyte iPhone, so that's the reason I went with the higher storage. I want to back up as much of that as possible. All right, so I shared Siri, you shared iCloud storage of your documents and desktop, and the storage optimization. And La Rosa, you gave us what was it again?
The Universal Clipboard.
Universal Clipboard. Okay. Anything else? Round two. We got a little time. Anything else that stood out about what's new? And
I kind of want to just drool over the Universal Clipboard for a bit. I mean, if there's a nerd feature that's ever a nerd feature, that's it. Because it doesn't just do text; it'll do pictures.
Yeah, if that works well, it'll be really nice because I can imagine using that as a workflow for doing sermons and Bible study, to where I'm copying and pasting passages from my iPad, and then pasting it and actually building all the text on my notebook.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's turned on yet. I wonder how you would use it if it is.
Yeah, it would be interesting for you to demo.
Because I just copied some text in Safari on my iPhone, and a Safari link just popped up on my dock the minute I copied it.
Are you sure that's not just Continuum?
Yeah, I think it's just Continuum. But it's interesting that the instant I copied it is when it showed up on my dock on my computer.
Well, unfortunately, that could just be Continuum's natural speed, which is
that's
slow as
probably
molasses.
it just opened the page. But I wonder if I try to...
If you paste it, might do it.
Anywhere, what'll happen? I just tried and got nothing. I'm going to open up Notepad and try to paste what I just copied into Notepad and see if it's even available. Isn't this exciting, watching me do something while I don't even have it on the screen? Beach ball time. Hey, you want to know what just happened?
What's that?
Where did that thing go? My iCloud synced this document, and so I deleted.
Look at
that. Wow. I just pasted.
His mind's blown.
On my phone.
What happened?
All I did. Let me try it again so I can show you. That's awesome.
So what'd you do?
All right. I've got a new note. I'm trying to see. I better not do it from there. I've got some private stuff in my Notepad.
This is riveting. You podcasting.
This is so cool, actually. All right. See how long it's taking to launch TextEdit. I will share the screen while it's doing that.
Live demos. Great.
Well, while I'm doing
demos in developer preview software that's like.
But this is not nearly as awkward as the messages demo that they did yesterday.
That was bad.
Okay. Now, I just copied this text
from your phone?
Yes. This was on my... And look what I did. I just right-click, paste.
Now, here's what'll be really cool if it works with clipboard managers.
Oh, that'll be great.
Because if I can copy like 12 bits of information and just go over to my Mac then and be like, I want that, especially pictures, that, done. I'd be in heaven.
Yeah, if I can use that with pages, that'd be great.
I now want to see how does it go the other way.
It's supposed to, but who knows if it does.
It's taken a while. My network's sort of hogged by us streaming, and so my phone is frozen. I got nothing. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Nice.
No, that's just what I copied before. So it didn't go the other way.
Okay.
I actually am more excited about the idea of going the other direction.
Really?
Well, because sometimes copying on your phone or entering text, a lot of text on your phone is a real, but you want to for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be real easy to just quickly type it into TextEdit or Notepad on your Mac and then copy it and then put it on your phone real quickly or on your iPad.
Kevin, if it doesn't work, that app I showed a long time ago, One Keyboard, will actually allow you to do that.
Oh, will it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that feature. It will be helpful to go from phone to especially if you're using. Well, if I've got my MacBook, I could have Accordance open on my phone or Olive Tree open on my phone, and I could see something, a passage that I want to copy, and I can copy there to there without having to have two things on the screen on this 13-inch notebook.
Yep.
And Kevin, think about for like when we're preaching, you could lay out a slide in Keynote and set them all as placeholders, and just go through your pictures on the iPad, or searching Flickr, and copy the image and then paste it into space in the Keynote. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Let's see.
And it's not. It really isn't that hard to, swipe to a different workspace. So that's not. But it would definitely save me some time. I'd probably save about 10 minutes just.
Well, see, I don't ever use workspaces. I've never been able to get my mind to work that way.
I use them. Well, I've been using them since Linux, so to me they're just normal.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I was happy about in buying my MacBook Pro was having those workspaces.
Oh, I love them.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know why. I just never think to use it. I mean, I could, but I just.
Oh, it's great. And you know what the cool thing is? If you are dragging something from like a Finder window, and you Command Tab, no matter where the app is and no matter what workspace, if you drag the icon that you're wanting to drag somewhere, and you drag it over the icon that you're trying to copy to, it drops it in that app. I forget where I saw that. My brain exploded.
I missed that. Explain that again?
Yeah, here, let me show you. I'll show you. This is, let me see my phone here. Okay. Desktop. Okay. So, say I am, let me go to Keynote. No, I don't want that. Stop. That was one keyboard. Keynote, okay. All right, so here's my slides from Sunday, right? So now I want to put another picture in there. So I could, copy here, right-click, copy and paste, but I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start dragging it, and you hit Command-Tab. If I drop it on the Keynote, why didn't it work? Hold on a second here. That didn't work. That actually did work. So it just put it into the Keynote for me, and then you put it on. I mean, to me that's kind of cool. That's a neat feature for when you're trying to hide things or move things quickly from one desktop to another or one workspace to another. And I can see all my different areas just by swiping up with 4 fingers. It's cool. But I'm a nerd, so just ignore me.
Was there anything they announced about Mac OS that you were disappointed about, like you wish that they had announced and didn't, or something that you said, oh, why are they changing that? Anything like that you can think of?
Well, I already mentioned it. It's the ability to use Touch ID to unlock your phone.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what they did talk about unlocking your phone when we get to WatchOS, but that should have been done.
Yeah, that would have been nice. LaRosa?
Not really, because I'm still new enough to the whole Mac thing to where what they did show was nice.
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember thinking like I was disappointed they did that, or I can't remember thinking, boy, I can't wait, I hope they do this, and then it didn't happen. I didn't have a whole lot of hopes or expectations, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it seems like a nice solid upgrade.
Yeah,
I get the feeling.
It's a good incremental upgrade. It feels, the name change makes it feel like a big upgrade, but I think the feature upgrades, it's like it feels more like a 0.05 upgrade instead of a 0.1. It feels more like they're going from 10.11.5 instead of 10.12.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk WatchOS. I mean, not WatchOS, but iOS. Wes, we'll let you go first. What was the most interesting or exciting iOS 10 upgrade feature that
So we're going to iOS now?
Yeah.
And you and I are disagreeing with this in Slack. What's that?
We already talked about the copying thing. That's sort of iOS related.
You and I were disagreeing with this in the Slack yesterday, but for me in my workflow, and I can think of several instances where it came through. Of all the new Messenger features that came out, and 98% of them, I was like, oh dear, please, I do not want these things to get sent to me. The Invisible Ink one I actually thought was interesting. And it's just because I've been in meetings where someone needs to contact me, and it might be with information about the meeting I'm in, and it's not for general consumption, around the table. So I know that this is not. Don't hide this up in front of people, or I've been. I can't really say what we're working on right now with some of our friends, but the where it's one person's privy to the information and the other person can't be, and it's not high level security, but it prevents that. Well, I glanced at that and I saw the word and I'm keying in on that now, which happens more often than you think. And so I like that feature. It's not end all be all, but it's a nice it's almost like putting an envelope on a text message, and I kind of like that. The other stuff from messages, the giant emojis and the being able to emojify texts after you write them. The first time I see that, I think I just might scream. So there is much in the messages presentation I was not thrilled with.
Yeah, what did you think about that, LaRosa?
The first thing I thought about when I saw that is I just started laughing. Because they totally built this.
Snapchatifying it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to compete with Snapchat, and then they're going to fail miserably, I think.
Yeah, they basically built all those features for tweens.
Yeah. And I already have enough problems understanding tweens in text, so.
You're
I'm old now.
Challenged.
I'm old now.
Well,
although I do appreciate that they now have emoji as part of the predictive text.
See, I always turn the predictive text off, but I do understand, and I think that's kind of cool. What the heck was that?
Sorry, I was airdropping a screenshot from my iPhone.
I thought you were pinging a Russian submarine.
To show you something. Here's one of the features that I am actually somewhat interested and excited about, that related to what you're talking about. This is, find my screen share, and here we go. And that is the ability to draw.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. That's right off the watch.
To draw thing. And this is in the Messages app on the iPhone. I tested this yesterday. Now, it says not delivered, and here's why. This is all a walled garden. And everyone in my house except for my wife my sons, use Android. And so they're never going to get any of these from me. And so I hoped that maybe they would make Messages Android, but then I also was like, why would they ever do that?
Well, there's still a possibility they can make Messages available for Android, but not do it until the fall, since all this is still developer preview type stuff.
They could, but the question is, why would they?
To get people using their stuff instead of Hangouts or something else.
Same reason why they have Apple Music on Android. Although Apple Music is a definite revenue stream.
They're not going to make any money from a guy downloading Messages on Android.
No, but it means more convenience for Apple and iOS users.
Maybe it's okay. I won't use Facebook Messenger anymore because now all my friends have Messages for Android and iPhone, and I can do it in that. But even I don't know. I don't see a whole bunch of Android people running out to download this.
Well, if they want to talk to their Apple people without a problem.
Well, that's true. I could tell my kids, hey, download this because I'm going to be sending you stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I know my son will say, just use the Messages app. You can text messages. Use that. Anyway, but that's one cool thing. I do like that. That if I know that I'm speaking to Android or iPhone people, I know that I can sketch a note to them real quick instead of you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's one of the big emojis there. So you can see what he's talking about there. All right. So iMessages, that's some of the. Now you mentioned what was it you mentioned, Wes, about the iMessages that you did like?
The invisible link.
Well, that's right. And that's basically what it does. Is I couldn't find a screenshot of that on Apple's site here, but explain what that is So in case people don't understand.
Now, and this is one thing that you're going to see people use. It's a great in theory, and then you're going to see tweens using it in practice and for inappropriately. But essentially, you send a text message or even a picture, and you can make it invisible, so it blurs it, and you have to swipe over to reveal it. And like I said, there's times like whereas in meetings or if I'm talking to something that's not totally sensitive but semi-private, I don't want people just glancing at it. It's really useful for that.
Yeah, the one thing I wonder about it though is, can you make it invisible again, or does it once you swipe on it, does it remain?
It looked like they could in the demo because they did swipe back and forth on it. But they didn't go all the way, so I don't know if once it's 100% revealed, if you can't hide it again.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question. But to me, it's nice. It's not perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I need to look up how to do it. It's not perfect, but I think it's nice to prevent that glanceable thing.
I'm seeing if you select it, but I don't see any way to actually do it on here. It may not be on yet. Okay, well, go ahead, LaRosa. What have you got? What do you think would be something you're excited about there?
I think there were two things that I was excited about. One is Apple opening up the SDK for Siri, mainly because for the past couple of months I've been driving back and forth between this side of the state and the other side, and I've got some friends that, for whatever reason, instead of sending me a text message, they send me a message through Facebook Messenger.
Cool. And
the only way I can reply to a text from Facebook Messenger is to open up Facebook Messenger and use the text-to-speech to respond to it, which still requires me tapping on the phone while I'm driving. But now with the Siri SDK, I can respond to a Facebook message just the same way I can an iMessage.
Now, the sad thing is those are going to be limited to certain kinds of apps, right?
Correct. There are only 6 types of apps that are going to be able to use the SDK, at least to begin with. And those are like payment apps, messaging apps, photo and picture apps, and then there are like a handful more.
You see, and I saw in the article you shared that music apps are out.
Yes, music apps are out because they basically want to keep you using
Apple. I'm telling you now, though, I use Siri to control Pandora. If nothing else, to at least say I don't like a song or I want to skip a song, it'll do that. I haven't tried to open Pandora playlist, but I have used it to control it, so I'm not sure if that's...
Yeah, I'm sure it can just do general controls as far as pause, play, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Sorry, that was me.
Airdrop.
Airdropping again.
A single ping on the sonar, please.
So yeah, there was that, and then the other thing that I'm excited about, mainly because I'm a music junkie, is the improvements to Apple Music. So from what they showed, it seems like there's going to be a lot more things similar to what Google has done with their playlists and auto-generated playlists. So if they can have something that's along the lines of the I'm Feeling Lucky button in Google Play Music, then I'll be a very happy listener. And then just cleaning it up in general, just making it a lot easier to use.
Cool. I've never paid for a music service, so I don't know. It's just not something I value that much.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's I really value owning my music, so I buy all my music that I listen to, but I use things for Apple Music for discovery of new artists. Things that I'm not willing to spend money on up front. So,
gotcha.
So if I hear about a new artist or a new album, I can go listen to it before I actually go spend money on it.
Okay. That sounds right. For me, I'm fine with Pandora and Amazon Prime Music, even though the libraries are limited. But I'm not a music junkie, so I'm not the target audience.
Yeah, and I'm the guy that likes having everything in one app.
Yep.
I going back to the music thing there, just a retreat to Mac OS. I was sorely disappointed we didn't get a major overhaul of iTunes, but because I hate it.
It's way overdue.
It's been overdue for 3 or 4 years now.
Every time I open that thing, I hate it.
I never do. I almost never open it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yesterday to back up my iPhone before installing iOS 10, and I realized I had never synced my phone with this computer through iTunes yet. And I've had it. When did the iPhone 6S Plus come out?
It came out like last October.
Yep.
Yeah, in that time I had never done that. And so
yeah, I don't think I had either, and it was bizarre.
Now, let me show you something I'm excited about in the iOS 10 beta. When you open your phone, this is the screen you'll initially see. And this is, if you do it the normal way, if you hit your home button and pause for just a second, it'll open it up all the way. But you can just kind of tap real quick. Well, see, now I can't do it. You can get to this screen. When you get to this screen, even if it's just by hitting the power button on the side instead of the home button, you'll see this. Notice how it says press home to open. You think, well, why in the world would that be important? Well, because then you can get swipe towards the right to show the left-hand screen, and this is what the new notifications on the lock screen look like. And these all then become interactive. So you'll be able to swipe, depending on the developer, you'll be able to swipe these in order to interact with these different features here. And one of which is you can search right here with Siri. And so that's kind of a nifty feature. And then if you go the other way, like if I put my finger and swipe that way, it shows that screen. If I swipe to that direction, did you guys see that? Using my mouse.
Yeah, that was actually pretty well. That was a good hack there, Kev. Good job.
It'll open the camera. And so that's how you get to the camera. It used to be you'd swipe, the camera would have an icon down here, and you'd swipe up.
Yeah, I do like that much better.
Yeah, that's much easier.
Yes, it is much simpler to get to that camera. And I almost never used the camera from the screen. First of all, it's hard to get to it because, there was no way to get there.
The Touch ID is so fast, it just opens up the thing.
Yeah, it is. It's so fast. So I really like this. I'm kind of excited about that happening. I'm also looking forward to getting Siri, like you said, in apps. You mentioned that one.
That should be fun.
Yeah, one of the other things that I really liked too that they mentioned was the whole pictures thing, and how they're going to be doing some computation on that to organize them. And it appears that all that's going to be done on the phone.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really interesting. And there was enough that was in that made me wonder if I wanted to use photos for my phone snapshots instead of bringing them into Lightroom.
Now say that again.
Well, because right now I bring all my shots into Lightroom. That's my photo storage.
Oh,
but I don't use my iPhone camera all that much, and it's mostly because the picture quality is just not as good. But if they're doing computational analysis on it, that's really, really, really useful. I might go back to using my phone for some stuff and actually use the Photos app to store it. So it's something that might become useful to me now.
Yeah, for example, here's something in Photos. Let me unshare so I can show this to you easily. The memories feature you get.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see that when it says on this day? And so if I tap that, that shows me photos that I took last year on this day, and so there's my wife and my mother-in-law sitting at a restaurant waiting to get in, and it's just kind of a neat memory feature. Also, it's got didn't have some better editing of live pictures. That's in Photos on the Mac now, right?
Yeah.
You can edit live pictures on Photos on the Mac? That's cool.
Yeah, you'll be able to edit those.
I did notice that live photos now have stabilization, too.
Yes. That'll be so great.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have this nice camera. Why can't I have stabilization on it?
On the bottom here, can you see there's a Memories button?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that brings up these memories. So best of last month.
That's cool.
So it shows me pictures that I took last month.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. Just a new way for discovery, you know.
Well, and it auto organizes. That's why I said if I use my iPhone camera for certain things.
Another on this day, so I was playing soccer 2 years ago in the summer league that he played in.
Cool.
So, yeah, nifty. All right.
Yeah, I also appreciate that they're now integrating all your voice over IP calls into the dialer app, so they all ring the same way now.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so if you get like a phone call from Facebook Messenger or Hangouts
Slack or
some other VoIP service, it's going to ring just like you're getting a phone call.
His cell service is going bye-byes.
This is the notification screen when you swipe down from the top.
Oh, interesting.
Bigger notifications. So that's the MLB app showing that Milwaukee at San Francisco, the starting lineup for tonight. Anyway, trying to think of something else that stands out at me.
The notifications were big. I think they spent an inordinate amount of time doing messages.
Yeah,
and most of that stuff was just completely uninteresting.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I wasn't sure why that was targeted to developers. That didn't make any sense.
Well, they want the developer. It wasn't entirely a developer. You said it was 100% developers. You know, I didn't.
Well, that part wasn't.
But yeah, that part was, hey kids, look at what we can do too.
Right.
Well, the developers are the ones that have to actually build all this stuff, so.
Yeah, but
they're not. That's all built into messages. What are they going to do with that?
No, but I mean all the other third-party stuff, like.
But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about they spent a lot of time on messages.
Messages. They spent time on messages, and didn't spend time on the stuff that third-party developers really could interact with, which seemed bizarre.
Another general theme was, hey, we're going to start opening up our APIs. You know, Siri, Maps, Photo, other things are beginning to be open now, and the phone are now going to be open to developers. In fact, the call kit thing that you were just talking about, I could see people, you know, is it possible that they might even allow someone to create a replacement phone app for the iPhone so that
on Mac OS or in iOS, it would always be a second-class citizen by default, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, but like on Android, I can replace the stock Samsung phone app with a, you know, Joe Bob's Hoochie Coochie dialer, and shows all kinds of weird stuff while you're, you know, pictures that have photos behind them or something, or numbers. I mean, all kinds of things.
And you had mentioned the Maps API, and that actually reminded me. With the Maps API opening up, I think the ability to make your own map layouts and ping things. So I'm thinking for like ABCNJ, to create a map of all of our churches in Apple Maps, which I can, you know, do right now on Google. But then to use Swift to create an app that kind of locates all our churches, because I was impressed with Swift when it first came out, but they announced Playgrounds. How cool was that?
Yeah.
I mean, the Swift Playgrounds thing looks just really cool.
Well, let's jump to sorry about cutting you off there.
No, go ahead.
Watch OS real quick. We've only got about 10 more minutes before we hit an hour. I think I'll start with Watch OS. The thing I'm most excited about is the speed that apps will open. If you've ever used a watch, an Apple Watch, you know that some of the apps built in, you know, on the screen, but a lot of the apps that are third-party apps, I just got where, you know, they'll sit there and spin and spin and spin and spin nothing, and so I'll just say forget it. I can just go open my phone, and that's so frustrating. And this, hopefully, if it works, hopefully will be a big improvement with apps that will just launch instantly. The performance will be so much better.
This Starbucks app is terrible.
holds true to all other apps. Say that again?
So the Starbucks app is terrible. I've never gotten the barcode to load.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, it's terrible.
What else? Anything else that gets you interested? I know, interestingly, Wes, you're a brand new watch user. You're not an owner yet.
I am not an owner. I am a user. I've had it for 4 days.
Is it someone that wants it back, or are you just kind of using it as long as you want?
He wants it back. He is a, I've always said in the past that I'm not a watch guy. He is a watch guy, so he actually he's the one who had the Pebble that I borrowed before. He also has an Android Wear, and he has the Apple Watch, and he alternates them. So he's letting me borrow this while he's wearing his Android Wear watch.
I think the biggest thing that I like about the new Watch OS is the SOS feature.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Explain what
that is. Something that not even like the 911 emergency services can do for you.
Yep, because we don't fund them. But explain it, Larissa, go.
Basically, you hold the side button on your phone for a couple of seconds. It'll bring up a thing where if you keep holding it, it'll start dialing 911. And then if your phone is nearby, it'll also send a text message to your important contacts and bring up your medical ID info.
And send a geotag map.
Right.
Of where you are. I mean, that's like, holy crow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And if Google did that, everybody would be complaining about the privacy issues.
They're tracking us.
Just wanted to throw in a little dig there. No, I like that. I think that's cool. I'm not that concerned about if Google or Apple know where I'm at all the time, because my phone already knows. The government knows where I'm at based on my phone. The NSA, hello NSA, we love you, is listening in right now, I'm sure. So, I think the general interface of watchOS, I've got it on my watch. watchOS is just nicer. I like the dock feature. When you push the bottom button, you can tell what apps you want in that feature. And,
that's kind of cool.
For example, I've got the Fantastical app. I've got the Remote app, so I can control my Apple TV with it. I have the Now Playing feature. I've got the timer and Yelp and the camera control, and then I've got the heart rate monitor showing.
Cool.
And so those are all there. If you hit the crown, it still shows you, all the apps. Finger like mine. But then if you swipe up from the bottom, it's a much better, I don't know what they call this screen on your phone, but where it shows, where you can mute your phone and put it in do not disturb mode and
Control
all
Center.
of those. What's that? Control Center. Thank you. Control Center is much better laid out with bigger icons.
Cool.
And then there's also a feature that if you pair a Bluetooth headset with your phone and you put some audio on your watch through the watchOS app on your iPhone, that it will
play to the headset.
It will let you, begin to access that and pair, turn on your Bluetooth audio or turn off your Bluetooth audio right
Kevin,
there.
Can you still access that like Friends feature that the bottom button's used for now?
Access to what?
Like when you scribble to people. Can you
Yes.
still access that?
Yeah, you still can. I don't ever use it, so I didn't bother putting it in there, but I could.
Okay.
And
I've been
you do all that from the watch app, the watchOS app you have on your phone, which is generally the same. There's not a whole lot of difference. And we didn't even mention the watch faces. I was glad that they gave us some new watch faces. I was very disappointed that they haven't opened the API yet for custom user-based created or developed.
Minnie Mouse?
Yeah, you can have them matching your dress, match your watch band if you'd like.
Kev, what about scribbling your custom replies to people for messages? Have you tried that yet?
Scribbling your what?
Your replies for custom replies to messages?
I have not, because I haven't had anybody with an iPhone text me
Well, it'll convert it to text.
Well, that's true, I guess. I don't know. Do either of you have my cell phone number?
I do not.
I do not.
Actually, I should.
You want to give it over the air right now?
Yeah, let me share it with everyone what my cell phone number is. Feel free to text me with that number, and I can see how well it works. We can do a live demo with me not showing it, because I don't have the clue, when I sit there and go like that with my watch. I don't know if I could do that or not. But I can at least do it and then play on screen while you're filming. Well, I think Wes is sending me a text, aren't you?
No, I'm sorry. It was reminding me. I'm scribbling something annoying to Rick.
Okay.
So, because I had him pair my friend with the watch that I have.
Well, let's jump to the Apple TV or TV OS. Do either of you have a new Apple TV?
I don't have the new one yet.
Yeah, I do.
Do you? I love the new Apple TV.
Cool.
It is, if I could watch live TV on it and get live sports that I could and if I could DVR stuff on I would get rid of DirecTV today and only use my Apple TV. But sadly, that doesn't let you do it.
Well, you can
Was there anything that jumped out at you? New stuff there?
Well, you can do Sling now on the Apple TV.
Sling. Yeah, Sling. By the time you pay for everything I'd want in Sling, I'm paying as much as I pay for DirecTV.
True.
Get DirecTV.
The main thing that I like about the TV OS is the universal apps auto-installing. So, like, if I download the MLB app on my phone, it'll automatically download it to my Apple TV.
Okay.
So
and
that's
they're really trying to tout it as a light gaming platform.
Yeah.
Did they say you could have up to 4 players now?
And then there's also the maybe.
It was 4 and local multiplayer, so it'll do split screen too.
Yeah, and then there's also the single sign-on, but that only works if you're using like your cable subscription to sign on to stuff.
Yeah.
That will be very nice, actually, because one of the problems that I have on my Apple TV is all the network apps, that I have tied to my DirecTV subscription. They knock me off. About once a week, I have to activate them.
Really? That seems bizarre.
It's just terrible. And I don't know if it's a bug on Apple's part or on the app, but all of them consistently, about once a week to once every other week, I have to reactivate the stupid app. Now, it's not like pull your hair out, kill you kind of annoying, but it's this kind of annoying, like quit doing that, stop. So, and they give you a code, so you go to historychannel.com/activate or whatever the address is, type in your password and stuff for DirecTV, and then type in the code that's on your screen, and then within about 3 to 5 seconds it turns on. But when you have to do that, like every third time you watch a show on one of the apps, it gets annoying.
Yeah, I can see that.
So if that's
I will say it's not as bad as the Xbox. We have an Xbox One downstairs, and that thing is the worst piece of junk I've ever had the misfortune of having to use. Every time I try to go and watch Netflix on it, it goes, well, you need to be connected to the internet for this. And
even though you are?
And even though I'm connected to the internet for that. I'm like, oh, thanks, dummy. So
we have 3 different user names associated with our Xbox. Mine, my young son's, and a lot of times one of them is signed in, but the one with my username is the one that has the Netflix account. So sometimes it says you got to sign in on the other thing, and so
it's just stupid.
Yeah.
So I don't like it.
The biography that what's his name? The big biography that came out about Steve Jobs. At the end of the biography, he talks about, hey, I've really solved the TV. Okay, and it's like that must have went with him to the grave, or he was just because no one yet has really solved TV the way it ought to be. It still doesn't exist. I have doubts that it ever will. But the Apple TV is pretty nice. I really like my Apple TV. It's just if 10 is perfect and DirecTV is 1, because it is, DirecTV is horrible, the interface and everything. The Apple TV is at about 4. So I like it better than the DirecTV box that I have to use, but I don't. It's not what I want it to be. But what I want is to be able to pop in on Siri and say, launch The Office, and it just opens The Office. It knows that I often watch The Office on Netflix, or if I often watched it in the stuff that comes from Apple, then it would automatically launch that instead. Just whatever it knows that I always watch it on, then it would go to that first.
I would be thrilled with that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Sadly, that doesn't exist yet. So.
No.
Well, it's 10 o'clock, and I think we've covered, our favorites and stuff. Is there anything you were really sad you didn't get to see in general at the announcement yesterday?
Well, we did forget one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
That was the quick unlock with the watch for your Mac.
Yeah.
And we were discussing it.
It doesn't seem to work right now, but that'll be cool. And explain what you mean by that.
Well, it's a convenience feature. If you have a watch, and again, I'm not showing off this, I'm borrowing this. If you have a watch and you have a Mac and it's set up or paired, whoever it is, when you open up your Mac with the watch nearby, it automatically opens up. No password, no nothing. And as a convenience factor, that's really cool. But to me, there's a huge security problem with that. This watch does not know it's my wrist. In fact, this watch doesn't care if it's my wrist. It just knows it's on a wrist, and I know the passcode, which is only 4 digits. So it seems really insecure to me. I don't understand that.
Yeah, so if you get mugged and they get your watch and your phone,
you're screwed.
And you're gonna be, yeah.
Yeah, how could they fix that, do you think?
Something has to be actual biometric, which is why I don't understand why they didn't do it with Touch ID, because that is biometric.
Because they already sell lots of phones. They don't already sell lots of watches in comparison.
I guess if it's just a straight-up business decision, it's a bad decision. Because there's no way to fix that security hole.
But am I wrong?
The cynic in me says you're probably absolutely right. But
they said, hey, let's do this first because that'll sell watches.
For as much as Apple is touting being about privacy, that kind of is disappointing, if that is true. So, and I think they really are being about privacy. This seems too much of a security gap to me. And I could be wrong. There could be some way.
I think they're really concerned about your privacy. I don't think they're as concerned as they want you to think they are.
Well,
Again, I'm
certainly more concerned about my privacy than like Google or Facebook is. So I mean, that's kind of cool.
I don't know about that.
All I know is my information is being stored on this. It's not like my fingerprint is not in a server in Apple somewhere. Like it's just on this.
Software, your keychain stuff has to go through their servers.
What keychain stuff?
Huh?
What keychain stuff?
Anything you store in keychain.
Oh, see, I don't store anything in keychain.
Okay, well, you don't, but most people do.
Mm-hmm.
And all that stuff is,
Is the keychain encrypted by default?
Well, yeah, but so is, all kinds of things are encrypted that they can have a backdoor to at any moment.
That's true. They could have a backdoor to it, but what I like is it's here. That's what I mean. My biometric data is stored here.
Anybody with information that can really hurt me, unless I absolutely have to and can't get around it.
Correct.
So I don't think Google is any more or less concerned about my privacy than Apple or Facebook or Microsoft or Amazon or anybody. I think Apple wants you to believe that because that's a really good marketing spot to be in. But I don't think they are more concerned. They want you to think they are, but
maybe I'm not quite that cynical.
I don't think it's cynicism as much as it is I think it's rational to assume.
No, don't get me wrong. I was bowing to your cynicism. So
Yeah.
it's like, when I find someone who's more cynical than I am, I'm actually like, listen here. Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a very rare find, Kev. So
I have frustrations with all of the big companies that can control our digital lives. Nobody does it really, really well. Some do it maybe a little better than others, but nobody does this really well.
But they all do it better than the NSA.
Well, the NSA's not in that business. The NSA's in the business of hunting down bad guys, and they'd like every single piece
every bit of information on the planet.
We want to find the bad guys before they go into Orlando nightclubs and kill people. So please send us all your data, and we'll decide whether you should have it private or not. That's their, and I sort of want them to be that way, but then I also want someone else to be on the other side saying, no, you can't have it all, because you need to have some freedom and some privacy. But if they weren't that dogged about that, I would be a little nervous that they're not trying to protect me enough. You understand what I'm saying? They need checks and balances against them, but I want them going after that stuff. Which, by the way, folks, here at the very end, we're pretty much done. I think analyzing what Apple did. Maybe it would be appropriate for us to just say, I'm sure I speak for the two of you, that our hearts and prayers go out to the folks in Orlando, and regardless of politics, and I hate the way that's become so political so instantly, but thank you, social media, because that's what it's going to be from now on the rest of our lives in this country. At the very least, there are families of, how many is it? Was it 50?
It was 49 who were killed, and it was
53 injured.
53 who were serious. Some of them were very seriously injured.
Yeah, so there's over 100 people whose lives are from now on changed because of what one mad gunman did. Why did he do it? I don't know. I don't. That's not for us to discuss right now, except to say that the world's full of sin, and Lord Jesus, come quickly.
Amen. Please don't watch memes. Don't read memes.
I think we're going to forgo our favorite things tonight, because I think we've talked about some of our favorite things. But thanks for joining us, and if you're still watching or listening, kudos to you. And we do get people who send us some fan mail, and whenever you ask a question that we should be answering on the air, we will do so. But we thank you for contacting us. If you want to contact us, probably the easiest way is just send it to Kevin at kevinpurcell.org or at KAPurcell on Twitter. You can find these guys if you go to Theotek.com. I've got links to all of their websites or social media that you can hook up with them if you want. And please subscribe on YouTube, or if you prefer audio, you can do it through iTunes and in almost any podcast app that you use on a phone or tablet or computer. You can find us by searching for Theotek. By the way, that's Theo as in theology, Theo, T-H-E-O, and T-E-K, not C-K, C-H, but T-E-K at the end of it. And I know it's spelled differently, but I couldn't get Theotek, T-E-C-H.com, so that's why we did it this way. But thanks for watching. And
just say we're cool that way.
Yeah, it looks more cool, right? So, and by the way, we also have Theotek and Theo.tk pointing to our website, if I remember right. It's something like that. Anyway, but thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.